Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam, and I finally watched Jackie Brown. This was written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. We all know who he is. And the movie starred Pam Grier, Robert Forster, Robert De Niro, Samuel L. Jackson, Michael Keaton, and Chris Tucker, among others. And this was based on the novel Rum Punch, written by Elmore Leonard. It tells the story of a woman named, well, Jackie Brown, played by Grier. She's a flight attendant by day, but on the side, she helps a good friend of hers, Ordell Robbie, played by Jackson, in a bit of an illegal gun operation. She gets nailed by the ATF, one of the agents of whom is played by Michael Keaton. And basically, they give her the deal of you help us catch Ordell, then you can go free because we want to stop his operation. She refuses the offer and is sent to jail, but is then bailed out at the behest of Ordell by Max Cherry, played by Robert Forster. The two eventually strike up a friendship, and along the way, Brown decides to pit both the ATF and Ordell against each other to her benefit. After the runaway success of Pulp Fiction, Tarantino, I imagine he must have been feeling on top of the world. So his next project, well, he was basically going to give love to blaxploitation movies. He acquired the rights to three of Elmore Leonard's novels, one of them being Rum Punch. Tarantino initially wanted to adapt either Kill Shot or Freaky Deaky, the other novels that he had acquired, the two other novels that he had acquired the rights to. But after rereading Rum Punch, he fell in love with it all over again and decided to go all in on Rum Punch. Outside of changing the name of the main character from Burke to Brown, Tarantino remained very close in terms of faithfulness to the initial book. He was initially nervous of bringing it to Leonard because of the name change. However, Leonard absolutely loved it, to the point where he said in later interviews that this was his favorite adaptation of his, and he was even a producer on the movie. And this movie would turn out to be another hit for Tarantino, and another critical hit as well, with Forster getting nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, and Grier being nominated for a Golden Globe. I honestly was a little, I don't want to say wary, but this is the movie that people often cite as one of their favorite Tarantino movies, and I was just like, really? This one? But now that I've seen it, I understand. Firstly, the cast and the dialogue pretty much make this whole movie work. This movie is 2.5 hours long, and it just flies by. The standouts in my mind are Grier, Forster, and Jackson. Pam Grier is someone who I'm not super familiar with. I in my research have found that she had a long and lengthy career. Probably the most famous of her works is Foxy Brown. But this movie pretty much gave her career a second life because she had not been cast in a starring role in quite some time, and she was one of my, if not my favorite parts. Another favorite of mine was Robert Forster. I actually knew Forster because he was the vacuum shop owner, the disappearer, in the Breaking Bad slash Better Call Saul universe. I loved him in that show, and he's really good in this. I also think it's a bit ironic, or not ironic, but it's also a bit of a coincidence that in Jackie Brown, Robert Forster plays a bail bondsman, and in Breaking Bad, he disappears people. I don't know. I don't think those two fields are uniquely divorced from each other. Maybe it was just something in Forster's face to make him just look like and say, you know what? You get people out of tough situations. Samuel L. Jackson is, of course, great in here. I mean, it's Samuel L. Jackson in a Quentin Tarantino movie. He's always going to crush it. And honestly, that goes double here. I was not expecting him to do so well in this, but he rocked the house. And he's often said in interviews that this is one of his favorite, if not his favorite, roles. And I totally get it. Like most Tarantino movies, you kind of get the sense that you would never want to be one of these people, but you just kind of love to see them interact with each other and see how they speak to one another, if that makes any sense. And because this is 2.5 hours, you would think that this would feel like 2.5 hours. But honestly, I've seen 2.5 hour movies in 2022 that felt a whole lot longer than Jackie Brown. This movie has great pacing. There's never a dull moment, and there's not a wasted moment. Everything feels like it belongs here. Even Beaumont's scene, played by Chris Tucker. Beaumont is not in the movie all that much, which I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but he's not in the movie all that much. But Beaumont is kind of the linchpin for everything that happens here, or at least one of the linchpins. A lot of bad stuff happens when he leaves the screen, for lack of a better word. And really, the initial money handoff between Jackie Brown and Robert De Niro and Bridget Fonda's characters is honestly some of my favorite Tarantino work, and I mean that without a shred of irony. I loved this third act to death. From the beginning of the heist all the way to the end, it was just so good. I'm going to give this an amazing grade. I love this movie to pieces. I'm thinking that this is either at my number one or close to it. I think I may like Pulp Fiction just a bit more. It's like Pulp Fiction is here and like Jackie Brown is like here. They're so close that it's hard to tell. But this movie has excellent dialogue, great characters, great acting. The music is of course awesome. Outside of, I want to say, Pulp Fiction, this is probably Tarantino at his most Tarantino, if I can go out on that limb. But if you're a Tarantino fan, then this is definitely required viewing if you have not seen it already. But what did you all think of Jackie Brown, if you have indeed seen it? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. And next week, we're sticking in the year of 1997, and I'm going to be covering one of my all-time favorite movies. It stars two actors who would go on to do great things afterwards, and it has my favorite performance of a comedian who we lost far too soon. It is 1997's Good Will Hunting. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way, when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.